Hey guys, this is Jules. Everything is alleged. First off, I apologize for not going live last night. For those that are here, every time I'm here, I've had some irregular sleep issues. So I ended up laying down on the couch to take a nap and not waking up till sometime around 10:30, and then stayed up for some hours, and we just are where we are. But with that being said, I will go ahead and schedule tonight's live before this video posts so that I can go ahead and link it to this video's premiere. We have some sort of audio only Zoom hearing happening tomorrow in the WSU and the Idaho 4 families situation. Now, there was also, as I mentioned in a live a couple of nights ago, a protective order for the information, like a gag order, that was asked for between both parties. And I said that's really ironic considering that the Goncalves' name is the first one that shows up on all these documents, even though it's all of the families. His name, Steve's name, is the first one that shows up on the documents. And they fought several times in court. Their own attorney fought for this gag order in the case itself to not be a thing, and for there to be transparency, and for there to be a clear investigation, and for there not to be any secrecy because it was so shady and blah, blah, blah. And here they are all wanting the WSU files to be under a gag order. And before we even get to the hearing tomorrow, on Monday, June the 1st, that has already been denied. So it's going to be interesting to hear what they have to say, because, her mind could change. But as for right now, the PO for WSU has been denied. So again, we're going to go over all of those documents tonight before that hearing tomorrow. So watch for the live link somewhere in this premiere, because in a premiere, YouTube lets you link it in the background. So it should be here somewhere for you guys to click, but I'll also make sure it's in the live chat and down in the description box. Now, before we actually move on to the subject of this video, I do want to point one thing out about the hearing tomorrow for this WSU lawsuit. We cannot watch it together. Well, we can, but we can't. So as you can see here, it says no part of the proceeding may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, in whole or in part, by any participant or public observer. This prohibition includes any audio or video recording, photographs, and or screenshots, and it is Zoom only. So you guys know how we've done reviews sometimes when Dateline or Amazon puts out a series and we're live watching it together, but I can't have it on the screen and we can't listen to it through my live, but we can listen to it individually together. You know what I mean? We're going to have to do it like that. I don't really mess with Zoom. I don't have Zoom on this computer. I don't think I've ever had Zoom on this computer. I strictly use this computer for YouTube and internet business type stuff. I don't touch Zoom for any of that. So I'm going to have to set up a Zoom account, and I will get all of that figured out before tonight's live so that I can, I guess, give steps to anyone else that needs to get on Zoom and needs to figure out how to get in. Again, they do have the dial in and the entry code on here. So we'll just get on live a little bit early so that we can make sure that we are logged into Zoom and we are ready to listen. Just be very aware, and I will have it on the banner at the bottom of the live tomorrow, that it will not be distributing audio or video, even though it's audio only. It will not be coming through my live stream. I will be listening to it. The camera will be on me. I will say something if they say something, and we will just all be listening together. It's going to be a little bit different. So let's just hope this goes smoothly. I am still going through my FOIAs, getting my spreadsheet together to get the master spreadsheet together that Connor has put together out there. And once again, I came across something I wanted to stop and put out here for you guys. We know that the redactions in this case are criminal. And even though the bigger the file, the bigger the amount, obviously. But the reality here and I've mentioned this before to a lot of you guys, this is not going to be something new that you've heard me preach about, really. The reality here is that the more it costs, the more information they're hiding from us. Because when the cost letters come in, they break it down and they tell us for the detective to go through it, it's this much per hour at this many hours. So here's the final cost for the detective. For the redactor themselves to go through it, it takes this long for them to do it at this amount of money per hour. So by the time they were finished, it cost this much. Then you also have to pay for the clerk type person, what Amber is doing, or Laura, or who the other lady that's in there, when they touch something and it tells you how long they touched it, how much it is per hour for them to do so, and what the total price is. The biggest cost in all of these is Mia Batista, the damn city attorney. You know, the annoying one during the last live hearing regarding this FOIA fight between EWU Media and the city of Moscow, that sat there with a smug look on her face and didn't speak at all. But at the end of the hearing, everything had to be rescheduled around her. You know, the one that I had a phone call with that doesn't know a single thing about the protocols that take place in there, even though she is the final editing supervisor on these damn FOIAs. That one, yeah, she's like $106 an hour. So we have to pay for her to sit on her butt. And in my opinion, she probably will just let the damn thing play on a screen while she goes on about her business. And we know that because how many mistakes have we caught? How many names do we know? How many details do we know? Because they do stupid shit like redact Dylan and Bethany's names, but let last names like, what was it, Runji or something like that, and then first names like Joe come out after charging us hundreds and hundreds of dollars for these FOIAs. They suck at their jobs. They completely suck at their jobs. They're so disorganized. It's so disgusting. It's so ridiculous. It makes me just so angry. I mean, can't you hear it? Can't you hear it? Why wouldn't you be aggravated? I understand to a lot of people I sound high strung, but y'all are also, for the majority, just watching me talk about what's going on. You're not out there actually dealing with this bullshit personally, in person, in real life. If you were, you would feel just like me and you'd sound just like me and you'd be stressed out just like me. Most of you guys have already seen this. I asked very specifically, why is there nothing that we can get like a receipt for redactions? Like, at this timestamp, this was redacted, and this is the code reason for why, okay? Because when it comes to court documents and stuff that we have seen in both Latah County and Ada County, okay, there is sometimes a ledger at the very end of the document, and it'll have like a little table, and it'll literally say like license plate or date of birth or personally identifying information, blah, blah, blah. It'll give the Idaho code and the page number, sometimes even the paragraph. Like, we've seen it. So we know that Idaho is capable of it, okay? So back on October 24th, 2025, as I was going in and requesting the 220 to 3:30 to the 11 a.m. to noon sections of the 11-12 camera. Yeah, we're going down memory lane a lot in the damn 11-12 fight, which we've already done a timeline for that, side note, but now that this is getting even more organized, expect like a spectacularly detailed presentation on all of the 11-12 King Road footage information that we've got, from the crap that Steve Goncalves told Brett Norton about getting it from Jack Decor the night of, to everything that Jack said, to all the bullshit that Mallory pulled, to everything in the documentation. Get ready for it, because it's coming. And the sad part is that I know there's still more out there. I know there's still more information out there regarding this bullshit camera footage, but let's stay on track. Okay. As I was getting the information for those sections of time for the footage, the pricing, paying the deposits, all the things, I asked this very specific question. And again, this was October 24th, 2025. I said, I noticed on some of the documents that when things are redacted, there is a legend type table that explains the redaction as general as possible, so we know what it was. A date of birth or a license plate, something like that. Is there any kind of itemization done when these camera footages are redacted? I'm just curious, since this isn't the time frame the reports claim the incident happened in. I'm just not sure what all would need redacting, but I do know some will be done for the price being charged. Is it possible to get something like that when the footage is ready? Thanks. And that was at 10:22 a.m., and it didn't take very long for her to respond. Her answer was, our redactions are not done in a way that notes what is redacted. I know there are entities out there that have software that will do that, but the city does not. But here's my thing. We know that there are, again, several different levels of people that have to touch this thing. From the detective that looks at it first and decides if it's the right thing, to the redactor who actually goes in and does the redactions, to the person in the office that gathers the information, to the city attorney that finalizes and verifies that the redactions that were needed are done. Horribly, but that's her job. How does she know what to check for without some sort of list? How does the redactor know what to redact without some sort of hand holding from the detective? How does everyone in this process know what their job is in way of what needs to be taken care of and what needs to be checked? Is there not some sort of spreadsheet, some sort of list, some sort of something paper trail that goes from one to the other? Again, how does the city attorney at the end of the process, before Amber says, hey, here's how much time we spent and here's how much you owe after you paid your deposit, this is the remaining amount, pay it and I'll get it to you, here you go. At the end of that process, what does Mia Batista look at to know that in this timestamp, that this section that's supposed to be redacted was actually redacted? Where is that? Why are we not allowed to have that? There's no way that something like that doesn't exist. But I just wanted to show you guys that I very much did, because why wouldn't I, ask that question? And that was the answer that I got. That they don't have software that does it. Well, there has to be something somewhere in the process. Am I wrong? If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already, and please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.